But there's fraud taking place here inside some of these daycares, man. Can you give me your ID? Give me your ID.
Yeah. Okay. So give each other your ID. Give her your ID as well.
Give me your ID first.
No.
So I'm not gonna give you my ID. My name's Nick Shirley. I have nothing to hide. For you guys' benefit, it would help if you guys could just answer.
I don't want the benefit.
What's $5 million?
Have a good day.
Are you guys by chance? We just want to know what that $5.5 million is being used for. And look, around here you'll see lots of nice cars. A Range Rover pulling up right here. It's strange that you guys received $5.5 million from Medicaid and can't answer a single question. They're freaking out right now.
Bring him down. Decide right now. What do you want to do?
You speak English, sir? And nobody speaks English here. Yeah, all of our tax dollars are going to locations just like these. This comes straight from New York Medicaid. And all we're doing is simply asking where the money is going, because this is straight from New York Medicaid, but nobody will be like, any other questions? Hello, ma'am. Do you answer any questions? $5.5 million into this location. Yeah, they can't even answer a single question.
Bro, love you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
What are
it.
you doing over here?
We're checking out these adult daycares.
Oh, they're doing it here too?
Yes. What do you think? What do you think about adult daycares?
Crazy.
This place right here, B&B, they received $5.5 million.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
No, bro. There's a lot of them. I'll say that.
You think your tax dollars fund old people paying cards?
Probably not. No.
Right in the street, another day, Silvertown Daycare has this entire plaza. This daycare. It's more of just like a cafeteria than anything. People are coming out. What's your take on all the daycares popping up here in Flushing, Queens? Do you think that's necessary? Just doing a documentary. Youth fraud is taking place inside that old daycare. Definitely, yeah. But are you committing fraud? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So let's say you guys aren't committing fraud, but these other daycares are. What kind of fraud do you think they are committing? And do you think some seniors do receive before going to the daycare? General rumors, concrete, anything concrete, proof or evidence. Does this daycare pay you to come here? Do you notice a lot of these daycares popping up around here?
I'm running for assembly, actually.
And what do you think of all the daycares here?
I know that they all steal money, I mean, that's just part of politics. So, 100% there.
And you, as you live around this area, what kind of rumors do you hear about the fraud that does take place? How does it work?
Well, the thing is that social services are supposed to be for the residents. They're supposed to be for the retirees, the elderly, right? And there's only a certain number of social services available for those that are required. But because there's so much money involved, because the money is just coming from the government and it's not accounted for, then of course they're going to be taking it. And all it does is it takes it away from the taxpayer, the retirees. Those are the people that are affected, and those are the people that are left out because they don't have a voice. The elected political dynasties that have been running Queens and New York for so long, they're held to their donors, and the people that donate to them are these NGOs, special interests, which funnel back into them, and that's the problem.
Keeps the cycle going. So there's a never-ending cycle of fraud that takes place here. For instance, I hear the transportation companies just pulled up. They receive money from the daycare. They also then build out the pharmacies that are around the block, and the durable medical equipment companies. And then on top of that, that money gets funneled back into the campaigns.
There's no there's no check, and but they write it in such a way legally where technically it's not. You know what I mean? But it's not right. That's the issue.
Outside of this daycare, we got a Mercedes, an M3 BMW right here. Lots of nice cars rolling around these daycares. Got a Porsche right there, another Porsche right there. Here at Living Well Daycare, this place received $8.6 million in 2025, and they're the largest payee among a lot of these Flushing daycares. In fact, they average 200 beneficiaries per day. Their peak day of business, they had 406 beneficiaries, and on that day of business, they made $41,580. That is 5.6 times the national average. Let's go see what kind of business they're operating. And Living Well received $8.6 million in 2025. And on their peak day business, they built the state for 406 beneficiaries. My name is Nick Shirley. So we just come with the facts and they start running. And $8.6 million in 2025. Flushing is full of adult daycare businesses that I believe are operating correctly. No one answer any questions. They're coming straight with the facts, straight data sets that are public for all. What's crazy about this fraud here in New York City is that daycare is actually a small percentage of the fraud. The home healthcare industry is filled with fraud, from pharmacies to the durable medical equipment companies. Home care agencies that offer. Now we're going to be diving deep into each one of these, and they all include dollars from taxes. Now this is exactly how the industry is here inside of New York City. In New York City, 2018, they billed $3.5 billion. However, in 2004, it was not $11.5 billion. That number is growing. So we have some officials here. We've arrived, and here at this building, Red Sun Home Care has billed the government $87.9 million from 2018 to 2024. In 2024, they billed the government $17.2 million. And just in 2024, they had 122,000 claims. In 2018, they had over 674,000 claims. What's really crazy about this is they're billing all of this off of one service, off of one code. 99.86% of their $87.9 million in revenue comes from one service, from one code. The number is extremely high. Let's see what happens.
The number one side hustle in the United States is matchmaking. Depending on the state you live in, you could be making thousands of extra dollars. But how does it work? I'm glad you asked. Sportsbooks across the United States offer promotions to get you to sports bet and to keep you to sports bet. The best part is you can de-risk these offers with a little thing. Match betting and placing bets on both outcomes of the same sporting event at different times.
Here we are in Red Sun. Hello. How are you doing? Is this Korean or Chinese? Yeah, we have some questions about the Red Sun Home Care. Yes, for instance, in 2024, billed over $17 million and there's 122,000 claims. Could we speak to someone? Hello, how's it going? Good. We're just digging around here inside of Flushing, inside of just general some of the billing of there, and it says here, for instance, there's been $87.9 million in revenue off of one code. 99.86% of all that revenues come from one code, one service. What's the main service you have to provide?
I didn't really get that information.
Database. It has HHS, and CMS. It's public. Nick Shirley. But so like, what's the Nick Shirley? From Nick Shirley. I work for myself. What's the main service you guys provide? Well, I mean, 99% of all your services come from one code. Can we talk to somebody? So this is the operation of a company that's received over $87 million in the past 6 years. This is for home care, but they're billing off of one code. They want to give us any clarification on what they actually do. So your tax dollars are going to a location that doesn't align and answer questions about where $89 million went off of one code. Inside the area of New York City, notice that there's these kind of buildings pop up everywhere. They're called pharmacies, and they actually all share with the LLC that's called DME, a Durable Medical Equipment. Location right here, there's one location, they have registered JD Drugstore and JD Plus Pharmacy. So one is actually a DME company, and then one's a pharmacy. And what they do, they work together to then work also with like the adult daycare systems around the area and then send them to a location. Provide them service is an equipment that actually don't need. The Medicare will continue to spin and spin because it's a never-ending revolving door between the centers, two companies that receive money from Medicaid and Medicare inside of one location. Let's see what's going on. So whether this is a place where they store it or they send is that a lot committed by people like the adult daycare who send orders in relationship and reaction the equipment. So it creates this whole entire operation where people are saying we need this and we need that. However, they actually don't need this or that. And on average, these locations make anywhere from $2 to $8 million according to CMS industry standards. So it's safe to say a location like this is making around $4 million a year. So here inside these residential apartment complexes, we have some DME companies, durable medical equipment companies that receive money from New York Medicaid. And it's a bit fishy that they're operating inside of these residential apartment complexes. So we're going to see what's going on. We have Premier, Lifeline, and Next Gen. They're all operating at one apartment. Let's see what's going on. Hello. How's it going, man? My name is Premier DME here. Yeah. Here, 3 durable medical equipment companies were launched within just a few apart here, and takes money from Medicaid services. And so we're wondering, like, where's the equipment at? But so do you guys not have any of the equipment here? No. So how come your husband has this address registered location for 3 different companies that receive money from Medicaid for durable medical equipment?
He's coming maybe like half of it, I don't know. Actually,
Do you know what kind of equipment he sells?
don't have, not at home, we have, I don't have.
But does he sell durable medical equipment?
These durable medical equipment companies are full of fraud. I met up with Dr. Oz, who's the head administrator of CMS, Centers for Medicare Services, to go deep into the fraud in this sector of New York City. In the daycares, pharmacies, durable medical equipment companies, this place is full of fraud, and Dr. Oz is going to dive deep into it with me and also even confront some of the fraudsters themselves. Be prepared to roll.
Inside of this apartment complex, one alone, there is 3 DME companies operating out of one apartment. Is that even possible? And it says that these places can make about $2 to $8 million a year.
Well, first off, was there anything in the apartment when you went to it?
Absolutely nothing. There was a mom and her children, and the husband was out.
We have got to the point where literally anybody will be fully working out without knowing the code. This is Base 44. This is the first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe the kind of people are creating smart nutrition apps, inventory trackers, onboarding tools, you name it. And if the only thing stopping me from making an app is the idea, why not build an app that gives me endless opportunities? So let's make it. Profile your app full app and ChatGPT, and then I drop it directly in Base 44. It gives me super detailed structure, and here it is. Everything I laid out in detail as it goes. This is pretty awesome, but I want to make it playful. So every idea that I favor will turn into a kickoff prompt to start building the app itself. And that's it. Just come up with your idea, any idea, and basically do the rest. So Base 44 create apps your name on it.
My name is Alex. I live in Wales. I'm 32 years old. I try to face.
It's almost certainly fraud. First off, 2 to 8 million a month, believe it or not, and they really get the scale. They may just be a number now, but these guys roll like vermin quickly. There's twice as many durable suppliers in software that there's an easy to open a bank account, and the person name account is never the person that actually owns the business. I don't know where these guys are getting money to go. They're paying it somewhere. I'm very nervous about foreign governments getting involved in this. But to open 3 one apartment makes no sense, especially a product there. It's gaming system. The fact that we didn't audit it, didn't catch off it, probably out there infuriation. Folks out there, because your tax dollars paying for this.
So it's literally impossible for them to operate a durable chemical company inside of an apartment.
Inside an apartment with no goods, and your equipment suppliers, that's a major red flag.
So 3 LLCs inside of one apartment, and Dr. Oz confirmed that that's not possible.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
We then head over to a daycare that had a pharmacy on one side and another medical facility on the other side, which goes to show the perfect example of a location that uses an adult daycare to carry out other forms of fraud.
And so they might be working together. Often that's the case. One of the clues we have is if the social adult daycare center is running a lot of other businesses, good example might be they do transportation. And so it makes us concerned. So this one was actually shut down, the original one, and didn't take long for another one to sprout right up again. This facility was shut down, back up again. It makes you wonder if the person that you went after was really the appropriate, they're just, the frontline guy who's doing the beginning of the ball. It's very hard for them to catch up. The big issue with these centers is not that they're providing social adult daycare, it's that it's a clubhouse for criminals. It allows folks that are running these centers to pull together a bunch of seniors who might be innocent, walk in there, and they say, listen, I'll give you side cash. Let me have that number that you have, that's your insurance card, and I'm going to use that as a credit card against the government. I'm going to charge New York State, who's going to then charge the federal government. All that money wanders through the system, gets cleaned up in different ways, and it builds a massive criminal enterprises. This business entity, this social adult daycare center, which I'm pretty sure none of your listeners have ever heard of, right? Generated $2.5 billion over the last 3 years in New York State, of which almost all, $2.1 billion, is right here in Flushing, Queens, and next door, and, the surrounding areas. You go 10 miles to Long Island from here, doesn't exist, doesn't happen. So, I'm supposed to protect the federal tax dollars, makes you very concerned. Something's wrong. When all the money's spent in one place, but the problem is it's now starting to metastasize. It's a bad idea. The fraud is starting to spread.
It's not like here in New York City. So we have high concentrated in Flushing, Queens, or for instance, and then you shut down a business and then back up on a different name or different person. You have actually got the guy who's on top because they're using a minion thing out the top fraudster.
The reason this has got on my radar is what you realize much bigger power to play. And the reason I started thinking that, and I think a lot of others are now also sort of wondering the same questions I'm having, is how is it possible we let this happen? Is this really a flaw in the system, or is it a feature? Are there good things that might happen if you're running government if you have this kind of fraud? So in this case, these guys bring together all the seniors. They say, here's the deal. I'm going to give you some money, but I want you to pretend like you're getting personal care services at home. Now, personal care services, remember, these are things your family would do for you, right? So that's just, for example, what you've got. Someone carrying the groceries for you, or driving you to an office, or taking care of some issues your family would normally manage for you. It's hard to police that. But what it does is it creates jobs. So now all of a sudden you've got basically the federal government hiring people to take care of all the people who come out of here. And all those services, although the state initially pays for them, the federal taxpayer picks up the tab, that pays the ultimate bill, and now you have jobs program. Take care of them. The most job in the state of New York by default is personal care services. Hired to go to one of those programs. Think about it. Twice as many jobs in the entire state are created personal care services. Now they're unionizing those, which now is a separate flow. Union dues translated to political support. So it's basically political patronage, and that should be illegal.
So these people are really just taking and looting from federal dollars, instant dollars as well.
Which puts the numbers on it. When Medicaid, the state, for example, that runs this program, it's paid for by New York State dollars, but they get 2/3 of the money back from the federal taxpayer, which means you're watching right now from New Mexico, Mississippi, Florida, even Illinois and California. If you're watching from there, you're helping to pay for this. Congratulations. You own a little bit of the business. You look around here, not to be specific, this seems overwhelmingly ethnic Chinese. Very insular. They're very much proud of their language, their culture. They hang with each other. They don't want to tell on each other. I was actually walking through the streets here, and a charge nurse of mine from Cracker there. She was, and she ran up to me. She was so happy to see me. And then she noticed folks around me. You know, so why are you here? I said, I'm looking for adult daycare centers. I mean, Pat said you have to leave. I can't be seen with you. And she ran away. Which means that people they both are living in fear because there's actual danger here. This is also, by the way, the hub of human trafficking in the eastern part of the country. But it also means that these kinds of businesses are right over. And that's why it's not easy to take them out.
We then headed into one of the adult daycares and we started asking people about the activities that they do. Ping pong. Do you have any ping pong here? Think actor pay for your ping pong? On top of government ping pong, we're also paying for government-funded Tai Chi classes for the elderly Koreans.
So right now we have to do some Tai Chi over here. Our tax dollars are paying for all be able to do Tai Chi here inside of New York.
So you might want to set the best use of dollars, or probably better off paying for life-saving treatments in hospitals. And the whole concept, this is again, decades ago, but it's now become a feverish pitch, is pay for people so they stay out of the hospital, don't pay for them to go in the hospital. That makes perfect sense in theory. But when reality meets the road, sometimes it's ugly, and you get roadkill. And unfortunately, we're paying for services that destroy people's homes. You know, somebody would open up their home and let people dance in there. Instead, we've now weaponized this funding stream, and now we're building a lot of these social spaces. It allows folks who are illegitimate to take control. I think that's the wrestling match we're having now in our country. Should we monitor, unsupervised? Well, how do you grade it to talk about?
The budget struggling to pay for medical bills. Meanwhile, there's someone doing Tai Chi here inside of Flushing, Queens, in an industry that receives $2 billion of taxpayer funds.
Just here, just in this, you know, within a few miles of where we are, Flushing. It's not even the whole state of New York. And you go to other parts of the country, they don't really use these that much. But what if they did? What if all of a sudden every part of the country, including rural America, where 60 million people live, they don't do any of these things because they go to their neighbor's home and do it. What happens if they all start doing it? Very soon, that part of the healthcare bill grows, and guess who pays for it? You. Out of pocket, your tax dollars. And you don't have a choice because it's part of the federal tax. And then everyone says, well, taxes are too high, or we don't have money for healthcare. No, we have enough money for high quality care. So I'm going to blow your mind. You ready? Hold on tight. Double-digit number of pharmacies. How many pharmacies do you need on this little strip of terrain in Flushing? I'll show you this. You can't even believe this is true unless you see it. There's a strip there. There are more than half a dozen pharmacies, back to back to back. And your question is, how many pharmacies do you need back to back to back to back? Now, I was running a restaurant, and I think because it's, you know, a food pharmacy course. So one here, one right there, two, another pharmacy. Again, the question becomes, how many do you actually need? Another pharmacy. I'm losing track.
We're at 4. So right here we have another adult daycare. We can hit the street, across the street. And we have
more pharmacies. After a while, that's not right. And then you actually look at the books, the finances, which is my job, and we see billions of dollars being spent on social adult care, which it seems inconceivable. The spot we just walked into, they have 15 people. He says they see 25 people a day. What if I could run a business that made millions of dollars and seeing 15, 25 people not doing anything except playing, you know, video games and mahjong and yoga?
And another adult daycare right there.
After a while, it's almost clutters your mind to venture more. There's more pharmacies.
Another pharmacy right there. Yeah, another one right there. Another pharmacy right here.
We're double digits now. It's like the kids in the seat pointing out the obvious. Everywhere you look, there's something having to do with healthcare. And what again is mind blowing is there is no way you would build a facility, a street, and think you'd have more than 10 pharmacies on it. I don't think you go anywhere in America and think that was normal, unless there was a cash cow business that was feeding into it, which again raises our concerns that there's something that doesn't meet the eye. If you look around, these folks tend to be from China and Korea. They don't want us here. where from the side they don't share our code. Getting these folks to talk about what's going on here is really difficult.
Yeah, of course, and essentially all you need is medical beneficiary number and that card.
Think about that. The lady from the pharmacy actually
She was a
fan of Dr.
Oz.
She said that a lot of people come into
into
her
pharmacy asking
what does
she get.
Why do those other pharmacies open up there? They're all over the place.
They're doing something funny and just doing what we're supposed to.
Explain what funny means. I mean, I they can't.
Customer coming in and asking, what do you get? What do you get? Kind of things that will service.
When do the other people they ask for like money or kickbacks in exchange for?
Yes, they do. But we don't do that. We don't do that.
How do
So
they?
it hurts people like you who are operating a business legally, and then you have other people who are taking advantage of the system. And now you have others asking for kickbacks or money in exchange for medicine.
You want us to stop the fraud? It's a simple question. Would it be better for you if the bad actors stopped taking kickbacks and bribing patients and working with the social adult daycare?
Yeah, of course.
Guess who's destroying these businesses? The fraudsters down the road. If we don't take out bad people, they hurt good people. Not taking out evil is evil.
I then took Dr.
Oz to beautiful Palace, which had received over $9.4 million last year alone, and at this daycare they were all scrambling to try and cover up the fraud.
Give a rough idea, how many patients do you see here today?
That's per day? Per day? We have the register already, but, hold on. I have a call. Sorry.
Well, just give me a quick idea, because I sure. Yeah, the one
Today, I'm not sure that, in,
average.
well, 50%.
Would it even be possible for you guys to have 8,000 different patients?
8,000?
Yes.
8,000 patients?
Yes.
Actually, I have no idea for
But
that now.
would it be possible to have 8,000 patients
8,000 patients here when? I'm not sure.
throughout the year?
Last year.
Last year. Actually, I don't know. I have no idea.
Would it be possible to run this daycare to handle 8,000 different patients in 1 year? Theoretically.
Who owns the business?
The boss, the owners, I'm not sure. Yeah,
You must know who owns the business.
we just have the managers and the owners.
Have you ever met the owners?
No, not yet.
How about who's managing the business?
The director is the ladies. But yeah, but I really don't know about that.
You don't know who employs you?
No, I just hired it last week. Last month.
Who hired you? And how long have you all been working here? All a month? What happened to people who were here before last month?
I have no idea.
They all left?
Yeah.
Why would everybody leave in 1 month?
You mean the patient or the members?
People working here. If you all started last
The
month,
staff.
the staff.
When I came here, I just met them. They are already set up, so I really don't know.
And you all started working here last month?
This lady, that lady's not like.
So it sounds like you guys got a whole new staff here. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate you. Have a good day. Some major red flags right there. All people have just started working there the past month, they said. Their past employees
The entire
left.
front office is last month, or it's not what's happening. Some of these things we don't level to check on. But if you're bringing all new people in, there's a problem. They don't know really who their manager is. They don't have any idea who the owner is. In fact, they're a little scared of even talking about the fact that there's an owner. They weren't willing to acknowledge that 8,000 patients. I mean, that was a great question. How do you get 8,000 patients through this door here a year? Impossible. They admitted it.
These people don't want to say who the owner is, mainly because they don't know it, and that also helps us confirm, like, yeah, is it like some sort of mafia that's running this whole entire ring around here because they don't know who their employer is?
That's the question everyone should be asking themselves. If I worked in a business, I would pretty quickly learn who is the actual owner. I know the manager. If the whole office was hired that month, I'd be concerned. And yet they seem to be playing cards with each other and exchanging winks and glances and, tipping each other off that they shouldn't be going any further. And they have no interest in you looking at the facility. which is another red flag, because if you're proud of the facility, you brag on it. You wouldn't pretend you were seeing a number of 50 patients a day, which I don't think that's possible. I only saw one table back there, like 6 people at it.
Cookie Bite. Compliance. Cookie Bite.
Compliance feels better with Cookie Bot by User-Centric.
This Burmese python wants to know what is inside the diary of a snake.
Oh my god.
Beautiful. Now, what do you feel?
Wondering why I do this every day.
Have you ever done a podcast with a 10-foot snake across the table before?
No, this is my first.
Awesome. We'll bring out the next friend.
So they bring it over here.
Just don't move.
Paul, what have you spent the last 20 years of your life doing?
Living in an Amazon shed. Indigenous people save the animals. Whatever it takes, which means, snake bites, very rare diseases, but in our trap, picture of that guy, that's right, because he got in the head while he was trying to make peaceful contact with the world first, and isolated.
Bugatti wants
£20,000 to service my Bugatti Veyron. Today, we're going to do it a lot cheaper. It's a well-known fact. Bugatti Veyrons are expensive to maintain.
20,000 time service is 18,000 plus VAT. 37,800 would be about $25,000. Yeah, very, very spicy.
And what do you expect? It's a super expensive car. Of course it's going to be expensive to maintain. But what if that £20,000 service car was worth nowhere near that price?
All the prices you hear about Bugatti service and so on, it's rumors. It's not the truth.
Am I really paying engineering work to do the repair and the parts, or am I just paying for the badge? Well, now I'm about to find this out myself.
Look at that. Any monkeys on it?
Yeah. Because since buying a Veyron, even though we managed to get it running in the last video, it still has a bunch of problems.
No, when did you get it? But now it's all flashing every light on the dash.
A misfire causing the engine light to come on, and we still have that transmission fault.
So something's telling that pump to keep pumping it, doesn't need to.
We suspect that this car hasn't been serviced in a really long time.
Oh, state of it.
And in the last video, we managed to get out all of the oil of the and take out all of the filters and the spark plugs. But I can't just call up Bugatti to buy new ones. So now I've got to figure out where all these parts come from, and after that, we can figure out whether the service cost is worth anywhere near the price Bugatti is charging. And right now, the action is on the price of this program. Only a It's showtime. Sign up and play today.
Right, these are
All the bits taken out, which is needed for the service, and hopefully to get this car running right. The easiest thing to do in this situation now is just to call Bugatti, order the parts come, and we can fit them. But we know Bugatti are not going to sell us the parts unless the car is at their place. So we could spend hours now trying to find exactly what Volkswagen car these spark plugs will come off, what Volkswagen car the coil packs will come off, what Volkswagen car these air filters will come off. Because really, I highly doubt that any of this is Bugatti specially made. Or what we could do is contact a Bugatti specialist like Simon Furler, and locally they will sell us some products. Also a lot cheaper than Bugatti themselves. And whilst I've managed to cross-reference a lot of the parts I need, there was some I struggled on. And I've managed to convince Simon Furler to sell me some of the parts for this service that I just couldn't find anywhere else. Right, over here we think we've got the majority of the stuff. Some stuff we've got from Simon Furler, some stuff we've had to cross-reference ourselves. And we still don't know where it's going to go. The only way we're going to find out is when we fit it to the car. And we'll explain what's cross-reference and what isn't cross-reference once we start fitting it. But the first step I think we need to do is fit the engine oil filter and the engine oil before we move on to anything else. So let's start with the engine. Let's go. So this is the oil filter that's come out of the Veyron. The first place to look is for the part numbers. We're going to ignore the Bugatti part number for now and look at who made the filter, which is a company called Hengs. And when you search that and the Hengs part number, you can't really find anything. Now the issue we have here is that you can see it has a pattern number on it. Hengs made the filter for Bugatti, and because it's pattern, agreed not to sell it anywhere else apart from Bugatti. So it was to measure the filters, still find one exact fit. Now there was a Hengs filter listed on eBay which did look really similar and was pretty close to the measurements, and I have ordered that, but turned out to because supply oil oil filter in the to get this one from them, which solves so many problems. I can now be 100% sure that I'm putting in the right oil filter. So in the filter goes into the housing. I've already put a bit of oil into the housing so it's not going to run completely dry, and then I can screw it back into the engine and tighten it up. One engine oil filter in. So far, I'm not seeing the 22 grand's worth. Next up is the 16 sump plugs. Each of these have got a new washer on, and I put them all in. Okay, the engine sump plugs, 16 of them back in with washers. Now put the engine oil in. The Bugatti takes 10 W60 oil, and if you see that, it says it on the oil cap. It takes 60 more. We'll add the rest. So the best way for us to find out how much oil it needed was just to measure the amount that actually came out, and it was 16 litres. Right, 14 litres in, and then we'll add the extra 2 litres. We don't want to overfill it. So that's engine oil and filter in. Next step is all the gearbox stuff, which starts getting a little bit tricky. There was loads of different filters which go into this gearbox, so it's clearly vital that the actual oil that's in it runs really clean. If there's that many filters in there, we do have one of them. So this was the one that went underneath the big gearbox filter, and it looks like Simon Furlong have actually made a filter exactly the same of it. In fact, they have made it. It looks like it's the same company, like PAL. So again, I can put this oil filter into the bottom of the gearbox with confidence, knowing it's the exact same one to come out. It slides up, sort of pushes in place, and then there's this aluminium cover which goes underneath it, which bolts, and there's one drain plug which screws in underneath it. After that, I've got one more drain plug which is on the side of the gearbox, put back in with a new crusher on, and tighten it all back up. Then we can go to the top. Okay, so before we fill the fluid in the gearbox, we need to start by putting the filters in and everything else. We've got the accumulators, and Bugatti changed these, but when we spoke to Simon Furlong, if they work, you shouldn't really change them. And that's having to outsource these, but I'm pretty sure they're almost similar to the ones on the McLaren suspension, and also the Lamborghini E-Gear accumulators as well. I think they're similar to them, but we haven't really researched it enough to find them, because these actually work. These just store the pressure, and I think, it doesn't say on this one, but they could store up to like 100 bars, something silly. So if I remember the order this goes in, this one first, then we address the pump, then the other one goes in. Now the funny thing about this is that after I did a bit of research, I found out these accumulators are the same off a Volkswagen Lupo. They use a similar purpose inside the gearbox. And from Volkswagen, these are £200. And these accumulators are exactly the same as in the Bugatti.
Some of the accumulators were replaced 617 of these times to $1,235.
So it's safe to say, if I do ever need to change the accumulators, then I'm going to save a fair amount. Before we put the accumulator in, this is hoping our fix starts. Here's the gearbox pump, and obviously we have the break in the wire. We taped it up like temporarily to see if that would help, but it still really didn't help. So I was trying to find these pumps everywhere, because I know that Bugatti plays them every year for some unknown reason. I don't know why you do that, unless it is a weak spot of the car.
Mastering sales takes
Only 19 simple steps.
Simple, huh? No. Monday CRM lets you manage your entire sales cycle with AI capabilities that help your team move faster than ever. Reach out effortlessly to leads and set up automated sequences to stay on top of every call. With AI meeting summaries, next steps, and risk alerts, you'll never miss an opportunity to lose it. The best part? Everything is fully customizable. Setting up the perfect workflow with the AI Solution Builder to creating real-time reports that give you full visibility across your organization. The result? A faster, smarter, more connected sales process. Don't stay stuck in the past. Move deals faster with Monday CRM.
With Google Play Games, you can
Play Unlocked. Unlock rewards with Google Play points. So the more you play, the more you earn. Go play on mobile and PC with Google Play Games. Download now.
Now, what I found here is that
This pump is actually used in an Audi A6 all-road as well, for some part of the gearbox, but still it is £121, which is still a little expensive, but it does look exactly the same. Now from Bugatti, these pumps are
$3,610.59.
So the A6 pump is still cheaper, but what I found better than that is that I could buy just the pump motor alone for €268. And for that price, I bought two of them, especially if I'm going to have to replace them each year. But when it arrived, something did look a little different.
Now looking at it, it looks like it could be slightly different, could it? That could be different. So you may have to switch over the plugs.
And that's exactly what we had to do. I've got a deep-pinning tool into the original plug where I can push that in and deep-in these wires. And I'm doing the exact same on that before. Luckily, both of the pins on each motor look the same. So I should just be able to push the pins in the new motor straight into the old plug, if that makes sense. Once the pins are pushed in, I can then lock them in with this pink clip, and that is all sorted. That should work now, but we now need the hydraulic part to go on top. We know that that's that way around. We just need to switch that onto there. See if that works. There's only 2 bolts holding the motor to the actual hydraulic pump. Then it comes apart.
It's slightly different, isn't it?
Yeah, just click on it, isn't it? Just go on.
This has got really like, look, it's got like a bearing in there, like on that. Whereas this one's got like just the housing, but then the bearing is. The bearing, yeah.
So even though they do look slightly different, they still fit. And it looks like the motor that I bought made a newer model, which changed the bearing to be internal. So it's fitting it together for now. I guess the true test is when we put it in the car. Whilst that was did, my dad decided to take apart the old motor, see if there was any issues with it. And this motor looked extremely old and burnt.
Oh, that's been sending it. Look, it's burnt out. Oh, really? It does like smoke burn. Yeah. Right. Let's put this in, see if it fits.
We've got to connect up the pressure pipe to the motor, tighten that up, and then slide the motor with the pump attached now into its position on top of the gearbox tank. Once that's in its place, I can then tighten up the return line, and then finally connect up the motor and tighten it all down to the top of the tank.
Pump is in. We've just got to hope it works. Next step, we can now put in the other accumulator,
which is
here. Again, it works, holds pressure, don't need to replace it, so in this goes. Okay. The accumulator's on. Now the next thing that we fit are the filters, and those filters were really hard to find, and even Simon Furlong, who actually does this type of service, doesn't replace these filters. They look like this. So these are the old filters that come out, but because they're metal, there's probably a company that will make these, but actually trying to find, again, it's this PAL filter, which is all going to be patterned to Bugatti, these type of filters, because we can't find another gearbox which uses the same tank or anything like that, so it's going to be really hard to cross-reference any of these. Because they are metal, we've been told to ultrasonic clean, which is after cleaning jewellery and metal parts. All of these are going to come back to one, but come yet. But we know just the guy who's got one, So that's where these filters are going to go for now. We're at Becky's machine shop. Can we go see? Let's go and see.
And of
Cool was in, and we needed to buy tools. His ultrasonic cleaner, to be more precise.
When you come out, chips. So it just shakes the water pretty fast. They're not that special.
And yet, that's all it seems to be doing. It goes in a cleaner, and it's kind of just shaking the water out until all the dirt is coming off the filters. We leave the filters in for a while, then it's ready to pull them out. And that's job done on the gearbox filters.
All done, good as new. Thanks to Bob at the machine shop. Let's get back before any of this dust in it gets in them.
And back come the gearbox filters. All that's to do now is to fit them all. I'm of course hoping that after doing all of this service, our misfire that we've got, especially on cold start, disappears, and also all the gearbox disappears as well. We did get running to relief valve on his to see if that was the issue, and that would definitely be the plan of once I've done this service. But first, I want to narrow down everything else on this gearbox and make sure all the parts actually work. And it's time for the final filter now to go in the gearbox tank, slide in, all the bolts go in, tighten them all down, and then it's time for the gearbox oil.
Is you, and you want to conquer the world of Albion? Here's what you have to do. Crack the pickaxe, gather some more smutty or make a set of armor. Crack it. Now's not the time for fishing. Go and crack the sword already. Now that you're all geared up, find a dungeon, kill the boss, get some loot, go to the city, enlist into a faction, conquer an outpost. Start bearing your enemy's wolf. Get back into the fight. You might learn some discipline by joining that guild. Follow the orders of the wise and noble guild leader. It's better to create your recruit players, go into the outlands, recruit more players, recruit more players, prepare everyone for battle, and conquer a castle. See? It's that simple. Now go out there, brave warrior, and conquer the world. So I suppose it wasn't meant to be, but perhaps you, loyal viewer, will do better. So download today and conquer the world of Albion Online.
So is the danger.
$1.18? Holy cow! That's insane! That's even bigger! 6 gold mine out here. I'm glad I started mining right here. I can't believe I'm up to $4.68. That's real money too, which is insane.
We've got 14 because 14 come out. 14's going back in. This is what's going in. DCTF, it is for dual clutch transmission, wet clutches. This is what we found works. Well, apparently works. So let's put it in. In goes 14 litres of the transmission fluid, which we make sure is 100% spotless. Right. I think that's 14 litres in. We have got a dipstick, so I can check it, but I think when we run the car, it will circulate more, so this is probably going to think it's overfull. Yeah, like massively overfull at the minute. But we know 14 litres come out because that's what we measured. I think when we start it, it will circulate around. We might need to add more. But that is... I hope that works. Is we could connect the battery off and see it pump before we continue and anything else. Or we just put everything together and then just commit to it at the end. Depends. What do you think we should do then? Hands up, commit to it. Yeah. Commit. Yeah, we'll commit. Putting the whole thing together. Alright. Okay, so we're putting the whole thing together, then we're going to find out whether it works. In that case, let's move on to the Haldex, which is underneath the car. We've got the front diff system, and it uses Haldex, so it's got like cushions in it. So I think the way it works is how much speed you get, it engages more quickly, and it engages more front wheel drive or less front wheel drive at certain times. Pretty much. The prop switch runs through the car, then connects to the system and the front diff. And the clutches in the Haldex system decide how much front wheel drive power you need at certain times to keep grip. Because it has clutch fluid, it also has filters. Again, we've just cleaned up the OEM filter in this, the same way we did for the gearbox filters. Then we're going to pop that back in place, tighten up the bung, and after that I can then put the drain plug back in and then move on to filling it with some fresh oil. So this is the Haldex oil. We only took about half a litre out, so I'm only expecting about half a litre to go back in. Yeah, this Haldex system doesn't actually take much oil, so it's important that we put it all in. That must be right, because only half come out, and even though it doesn't take much oil, you'll be shocked what you get charged for that oil.
$187 and $191.
$191 when I got my bottle for £20. No idea what's going on there. But now, hopefully, it's in, and the fill plug is all tightened down. Next step to go in is spark plugs. We're not putting these in, and these are really taped up. Volkswagen spark plugs. Really easy to cross-reference. You literally just have to put the number into Google and you can find it, cross-reference it to the NGK spark plugs. These are ILZK R8A, and you can see on there ILZK R8A. So same plug, go in, don't need gaffing or anything because new car. Put these in, you know these work. It's the coil packs we're going to screw up. Let's get these in first. Right, 16 spark plugs need to go in, and that's really easy to cross-reference. I found them for £17.37 a spark plug. The Gatti are charging
spark plugs times 16 at $57 each, $916.
A lot more than what we found ours for. And you also won't believe the labour they charge to do this either, which will later. For now, I'm putting 8 spark plugs in my side of the engine, whilst my dad is putting the 8 spark plugs in onto the side of the engine that he's working on, which again wasn't too difficult of a job. So spark plugs are in, we know they're all the filters are original, and that is all going to work. This is where it's going to get harder, because these coil packs are extremely hard to find. They do have a Volkswagen number. They seem impossible to get hold of, I don't know why. But the coil pack, they're almost like the same as a 1.8 Audi TT. The only thing we can see different, obviously the top's different, but this is a really old style top. This is the new style top. The plug's the same inside, but the seal here, which sits in the car, which you can remove. So that seal can come off, and then we can remove the seal of the new coil packs and put the original seal of the coil packs on the new coil pack. Do the job. Little modification. The only thing that's changed is this seal. But I don't know. We're committed to trying it. If anything, these are going to be uprated because these are like technically newer than these. We don't know if these are faulted, but if I change them, I'm not going to harm it unless they don't work. Looks like I'm going to change all the seals. Let's hope this works.
Actually, yeah, I have an online store.
Wait, seriously? Like you built it yourself?
No, that's the thing. I didn't build anything. They built it for me. Thousands of products already loaded, all shipping from inside the US.
And people are actually buying?
Yeah, I get orders. I didn't run ads. I didn't do anything technical. It just works.
How is that even possible? What's the platform?
It's called Selvia. It's free to start. Forbes covered it. 1.5 million people use it.
Try it now.
So we got to work at
It's switching over all of the coil pack seals. But since I filmed this video, I've actually found the coil packs that this card uses for $53.99 each. The same coil packs of a Volkswagen Phaeton or a Bentley Continental GT with a 6-litre engine. But first, let's see if these ones actually work. And if they don't, the correct ones will be found. Now, time to install them. And everything's looking good so far. They all push into place and the original plugs fit into them. So how much does Bugatti charge for this?
Ignition coils, $3,923.
$245 each is crazy. And the labour to fit it all,
23.5 hours, $6,627 just for the labor.
23.5 hours to do this. Yes, we already have the car stripped
apart. I feel like we're working in slow motion to make this job 23.5 hours. Okay, spark plugs in, coil packs in, gearbox pump, gearbox fluid, everything is in. I've not put the air filters in just yet because the engine cover's not going before the air filters, and this car is going to the ice blasters to make it nice and clean, to get all this crud off before we find out whether this has worked or not. When I picked up this car, we noticed that it's not been looked after the best. And it's easy to forget sometimes that this car is worth way over £1 million and could potentially be a lot more than that in the future. So to make it spot on, I'm taking it to the ice blasters. Right. It's time to get ice blasted. Shit. Let's go. So the ice blasters dry ice, freeze the dirt that's on the car, then hit it off it with ice as well. There's a more technical explanation, which the guys will explain on the video that they filmed, which I put a link in the description for. And you can also book your car in with them as well. But the good thing about this Bugatti is when you do put the bin into car vertical, the check comes fully clear. There's no outstanding finance, it's never been stolen, and there's no records of it ever being damaged. Car, and I can see that since 2023 it's barely moved. On top of that, I can see the full timeline of the car, and this car got imported from Dubai, and I can see that it comes to the UK in 2018. I can then also see every time it's had a number plate change or ownership change.
So the car's done. It's looking nice, fresh once again, back to how it should be. So it's back into that.
Now, if you did check the car vertical when it wasn't an accident, then it's likely to show you photos of when the car was damaged and auctioned at the car crash auction. So keep that in mind. For now, the Bugatti is back in the workshop. And the Veyron is back from the ice blasters. It's looking so clean. Like, everything's like back fresh. I did say I want to bring it back and they can coat it with like a protective material as well, so it prevents it from getting all dirty again. I've just noticed all the suspension. Look how shiny they are. That is mega. And remember, if you want to set your car out on car vertical, you can do with the link in the description box below, and I put a discount code which is on the screen right now, so make sure you're checking your car out before you buy it. Right, for a big moment now. We're about to find out whether all our service kit is actually working. The first thing we're going to do is see if the gearbox pumps pressure. And I've got to connect the jumper pack on because it seems like our battery's got a little low. Ready? And the pump come on. Pump in. Oh. And cut out. Oh. But then it come back on again, which isn't a good sign. Should only come on once to do with the pressure. But it kept coming back on. Well, yeah, the only reason we keep pumping is if it didn't have enough pressure.
The only way I could find out is plug in the auto. Maybe there's a fluid leak or a pressure leak somewhere. Yeah, let's plug the auto in and see what pressure it's got on it. Let's have a look. The auto's now going to tell me how much pressure it's built up in the gearbox. So it's only at 2 bar of pressure, which is effectively nothing. It's only at 2 bar, which is not enough to ship. So if I try shipping it, yeah, it's not going to ship. The only thing we can't toss it and it pumps some fluid down, but the only other thing we could have done is wire the pump wrong way around, so then it's spinning backwards and not spinning forwards. Yeah, that's spinning and it's not building up any pressure. So we fell at the first hurdle. To eliminate that it's got nothing to do with our dead battery, we're going to get the car in the ramp so we can remove the old battery and go and buy a new one. Gonna go get that. So it's going to work.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20 hand-picked products trending all over the world,
basically validated by AI from a trending product database from one of the top. And the reason we do this completely free is because Shopify is willing to do it. You've probably seen it before, because for the last year, Shopify has loved AI-powered software for so much. They've been paying to build, just like this, a completely free store. Now, again, it's free for you, right? Shopify is paying me a commission to do it. And if you don't keep your store for more than 90 days, I don't even pay for it. But your store is still free, right? And after 90 days, it's still your store. I don't own the percentage of the store. I don't control the store. It's yours. You can delete products from it, add new products to it, all of this stuff. Okay? Not only that, I'm going to give you the courses completely free. I'm not going to credit myself with a bunch of courses. I can afford to make the course free, and Shopify pays me when you use this software. Open up Shopify store. You get a free store, right? I get a commission from Shopify, and Shopify is getting a merchant platform that's being made by me. It's a win-win situation. All you have to do is put it right. I dare you to do it. I dare you to see it. You're going to go to the next page. You're going to create a free account. You're going to get a free account to our AI software. It's going to build you a store. It's ready to start taking orders. The sales page is done. The product description is done. The products will be uploaded from the store. You're ready to start the orders. The custom theme is going to be uploaded for you. It's going to be ready to go. Weeks for thousands of dollars worth of design done for you, all by AI, completely free. The only thing that you have to do is create your own Shopify account. Again, the reason I'm able to do this for free is because Shopify is awarded the most innovative commerce in the world by Shopify. Shopify follows me. They like a lot of my ads. And this is something that Shopify is 100% aware of. That's why they're paying to do it. So you can go pay somebody for a bunch of courses. You can go pay somebody to build a store. Or you can just click here, start an AI software, build it for you for free. And you have an epic professional optimized store ready to go. In the next 20 minutes, the choice is yours. But if you want to get started right now, by the person that's important, it's going to be innovative in the world. It's going to get free, then you got to click here, right? Here you see it's times in your pocket for my services. Let's go.
Design it and put it on
the store within 5 minutes. Actually, insane. But before I get into that, I feel like the number one problem with brand owners nowadays in 2020 is that their inventory is not landing fast enough. Plus, shipping costs are through the roof. So that's why I'm using print-on-demand companies for my products when I make collections. Now, cool thing about on demand is that it's not blank, design it on the platform, integrate it into my Shopify website, and then ship out to the customer without even seeing it. And that company I'm speaking about is Tapestry. So let's connect my store. When it connects to Shopify, when it installs Tapestry into my Shopify store, check this out. Super great. And boom. Just like that, I connected my Shopify to Tapestitch. Okay, cool. And then you can choose from between small and 2XL, which a lot of brands are using, right? Small to 2X. So we're going to hit design now. And you can also create images with AI. As you can see, we are in the design studio. I think that's super. I feel like a lot of brands put it up here. A lot of brands put it up here in the area, which is cool. It's fine. Now we're going to see how much it actually costs to get the demo shipped to my door. Now we have the sample right here in our cart. Price doesn't change. So $33. There's no discount code, nothing. As you can see, 60% chance that this will be ready in a day. That's pretty fast, y'all. If you've been working with custom manufacturing, this might be a better alternative for you. Found my link, designed it, added to my cart $33 for a sample, meaning that if I wanted to run a pre-order on this product, so make sure you guys see that first link in the description to go check out how it is.
The battery's completely dead.
So we're going to paste that as well, along with our service. The battery comes out from underneath the car. Even though you can access it from the front storage area, it has to be removed from underneath. And here's the old one, which looks like it's already been replaced. But these AGM batteries, once they go flat, it's really hard to revive them. So here's the new one. Yeah! From Harrods, securing that in, and then we can put it back up into the frame and tighten it all down. That's one new battery installed. We're going to see one whether it builds up gearbox pressure, two whether it actually starts up, three whether the service works. It's a human. I'm just going to stop and turn it off. Let's see. That good. That sounded well smooth. That sounded way smoother. See if it goes into neutral. No. That first start, no. There's a little bit of false hope. Now it's struggling. Oh, now it was misfiring. Every light is under that. And the engine light was flashing. We're running on a couple of cylinders. That was not good. Every light was flashing. And on top of that, after scanning the car with the auto, we were still getting multiple cylinder misfires. Maybe those coil packs didn't work after all. I think we change the coils back to the other ones, try that, and then try the pump all the way around. Let's try. Red's going onto the left, and so brown's going to the red, and black's going to that one. So let's send 12 to that and see if pressure comes out of that coming out of that one. There's potential that we wired the pump the wrong way round. If that is the case, then it would mean that the pump is spinning the other way around, causing it not to put pressure. So what we're doing now is we're going to connect it back up to the car, activate it, and see which way the pressure is coming out. No, wrong way. Yeah, it's sucking there and blowing there. So these are the wrong way around. That's why we ain't getting pressure. So this needs to go the other way around. Let's do silly thing. The wires were the wrong way around, and there was only a 50-50 chance I got it right or wrong, and I got it wrong. But now's the chance to get it right by flipping the wires round. Now we got that bloke.
out in phase 4.
Interesting. Can it generate reports?
It can now. Anything else? Can this be processed? Costco by category?
And check spending trends?
Done. Everything you want already exists. Get it all on Depop.
Blowing and this sucking.
Go. Yeah. Okay. Let's hope this works now. With those wires switched down, I could then fit back in the pump and everything else on the gearbox. And whilst we was there, it was also going to change back coil packs to the original ones because I don't think the car liked our aftermarket ones. And 23.5 hours later, it was ready to try again. It's gonna work. You got the fingers crossed? You're that confident?
Yeah.
What about you, Liam?
Sorry, I'm confident.
Matt? This fire's still going to be there. Because all we changed is the spot, which is all colours back in now, and I think it is the map sensors. I think it is. But we ain't got them yet. But let's see. Let's see what happens. The pump primed up again when we open the door. Now we have to wait. When do we start panicking?
No, it's just building pressure when flames.
If it goes bang, can you stop it now? Unless you can quickly put this box and take the readout. Yeah,